Welcome to the Ethereal Gardens of Everfall, a soothing sleep story designed to help you drift off to a peaceful slumber. If you find this story soothing and enjoyable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Before we begin our journey to the enchanting floating archipelago of Everfall, we'll start with a brief breathing exercise to help you relax and unwind. If you prefer to skip ahead to the story, you can find the timestamps for each chapter in the video description below. In this tranquil tale, we'll follow Elara, a young cartographer's apprentice, as she stumbles upon a hidden world where luminescent rain nourishes fantastical flora and gentle bioluminescent creatures. As you listen, allow the gentle rhythm of the narration and the calming imagery of Everfall to wash over you, carrying you away to a realm of peaceful dreams. Now, let's take a moment to connect with our breath. Find a comfortable position, either lying down or sitting, and gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Begin by inhaling slowly and deeply through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs and expand your chest. Then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, releasing any tension you may be holding in your body. Continue breathing in this slow rhythmic pattern, focusing on the gentle rise and fall of your chest, or the sensation of the air flowing in and out of your nostrils. With each inhale, imagine drawing in the calming energy of Everfall, and with each exhale, release any worries or stresses from your day. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back to your breath, allowing the rhythmic flow to lull you into a state of deep relaxation. Now, let the story begin. Chapter 1. The Uncharted Ascent. Elara traced the intricate lines of a coastal map, her fingertip following the curve of a distant, unexplored archipelago. The lamplight cast a warm glow on the parchment, illuminating the meticulous details she'd painstakingly rendered. Her master, the esteemed cartographer Silas Blackwood, believed in precision, in capturing every inlet and every rise with unwavering accuracy. But Elara yearned for more than the static representation of a world she longed to experience firsthand. The whispers of uncharted territories called to her, a siren song of adventure echoing in her heart. Tonight, that yearning would finally propel her beyond the confines of Blackwood's stuffy study. The airship Celestial Wanderer, its hull gleaming like polished bronze in the moonlight, loomed large in the docking bay. It was scheduled to depart at dawn, embarking on a survey of the Southern Isles, a journey Elara had pleaded with Silas to join. He had refused, citing her lack of experience and the dangers of the open sky. But Elara had made her decision. She would not be confined to the dusty shelves of his study while the world beckoned beyond. With a small satchel containing a few essentials and her most prized possession, a compass gifted by her late father, she slipped out of the study window and into the cool night air. The docking bay was deserted save for a lone watchman dozing by a flickering lantern. Elara, nimble as a cat, slipped past him unnoticed, blending into the shadows. A rope ladder dangled invitingly from the Wanderer's lower deck. Her heart pounded in her chest, a mix of fear and exhilarating anticipation. She ascended quickly, her small hands gripping the rough rope, pulling herself upwards towards her clandestine voyage. Reaching the deck, She quickly slipped into a shadowed alcove, concealed by crates of supplies destined for distant ports. The gentle hum of the airship's engines filled the air as it prepared for departure. Elara peeked from her hiding place, watching the crew make their final preparations. The gentle rhythm of their movements, the methodical checking of ropes and instruments, had a calming effect, easing her initial nervousness. She imagined herself alongside them, charting new lands, breathing in the fresh sea air, and feeling the thrill of discovery. The rhythmic creaks of the airship, the distant clang of metal, all blended into a soothing lullaby, rocking her into a state of quiet anticipation. The initial tranquility of the journey was shattered by a sudden, violent storm. The wind howled like a banshee, buffeting the airship and tossing it about like a toy in a giant's hand. The rhythmic creaks became jarring groans as the ship strained against the tempest's fury. Elara, clinging desperately to a crate, felt a surge of fear. She'd underestimated the unpredictable nature of the open sky. Rain lashed against the deck, soaking her through to the bone. A sudden, violent lurch sent her tumbling from her hiding place, her fingers slipping from the crate as she was hurled towards the edge of the deck. For a fleeting moment, she was suspended in the air, the howling wind tearing at her clothes. Below, the churning clouds obscured the raging sea. Fear choked her, a cold knot in her stomach. Then, with a final sickening lurch, she plunged over the railing, swallowed by the tempestuous darkness. As she fell, a shimmering light, a beacon in the swirling chaos, caught her eye. It seemed to beckon her downwards, a promise of something unexpected amidst the storm's fury. The light grew brighter, drawing her closer, and she closed her eyes, surrendering to the unknown. Chapter 2. The Luminescent Embrace. The anticipated impact never came. Instead of the cold, hard slap of the ocean waves, Elara landed on something soft and yielding. A gentle, cushioning embrace enveloped her, a stark contrast to the raging storm she'd just escaped. She opened her eyes, blinking against the soft, pervasive light that surrounded her. Gone was the darkness of the storm clouds, replaced by an ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from the very air itself. She lay on a bed of moss, unlike any she'd ever seen, its delicate tendrils radiating a gentle phosphorescent light. She sat up slowly, taking in her surroundings. She was on a small, floating island, suspended in the air amidst a vast archipelago of similar islands, each glowing with the same otherworldly luminescence. Towering, luminous trees reached towards a sky free of storm clouds, their leaves shimmering with a soft internal light. The rain still falling was not the cold, harsh rain of the storm, but a gentle, warm drizzle that shimmered like liquid starlight. It coated her skin in a fine, silken mist, leaving a faint, sweet scent in its wake. As she rose to her feet, the moss beneath her feet pulsed with a gentle light, as if responding to her presence. Nearby, a cluster of luminous flowers unfurled their delicate petals, revealing intricate patterns of glowing veins. The air was filled with the soft chime of tiny bells, a melody that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the island. A sense of profound peace settled over her, a tranquility she'd never experienced before. The rhythmic patter of the luminescent rain, the gentle chime of the unseen bells, created a soothing symphony that eased the lingering fear from her heart. From the edge of the island, she looked down into the misty depths below. She could no longer see the raging ocean, only a swirling expanse of soft, luminous clouds. It was as if the storm had never existed, replaced by this serene, otherworldly realm. She took a deep breath, inhaling the sweet, floral scent of the air, a fragrance both familiar and utterly unique. It was the scent of petrichor, the earthy aroma of rain on dry ground, but infused with something ethereal, something magical. A gentle rustling sound drew her attention. From behind a cluster of luminous trees emerged a group of small, winged beings. They were humanoid in form, but with delicate iridescent wings that shimmered in the soft light. Their skin glowed with a soft internal luminescence, matching the ethereal glow of the island. They approached her cautiously, their large luminous eyes filled with a gentle curiosity. As they drew closer, the chiming melody grew stronger, as if emanating from their very beings. One of the winged beings, taller than the others, and with wings that shimmered with a more intense light, stepped forward. It extended a slender hand towards Elara, a gesture of greeting rather than threat. Elara, her initial apprehension replaced by a sense of wonder, reached out and gently touched the being's hand. A wave of warmth flowed through her, a comforting sensation that spread through her limbs, easing the last vestiges of tension from her body. The being spoke, its voice a soft, melodic chime that resonated deep within her, welcoming her to the Ethereal Gardens of Everfall. Chapter 3. The Keepers of Everfall. The winged being, whom Elara learned was called a Sylvan, led her through the luminous gardens. The Sylvans, as she discovered, were the guardians of Everfall, tending to its delicate ecosystem and protecting its unique magic. The Sylvan Elder, the one who had first greeted her, explained the nature of their world. The luminescent rain, they explained, was the source of Everfall's magic, nourishing the unique flora and fauna and maintaining the island's delicate balance. Its gentle, rhythmic patter was a constant presence, a soothing backdrop to the serene life of Everfall. The lumiflora, the glowing plants that covered the islands, were not merely vegetation but sentient beings, communicating through their melodic chimes. Elara learned to listen to their subtle melodies, understanding their expressions of welcome, curiosity, and gentle contentment. The soft chimes, repeating in gentle waves, wove a calming tapestry of sound that eased her mind and lulled her into a state of deep relaxation. The Sylvans themselves communicated in the same melodic language, their voices blending harmoniously with the chimes of the lumiflora. The Sylvan Elder led Elara to the heart of the largest island, where a magnificent luminous tree stood tall, its branches reaching towards the sky like glowing fingers. This, they explained, was the Everfall tree, the source of the luminescent rain and the heart of Everfall's magic. Its leaves shimmered with an intense internal light, casting a warm golden glow on the surrounding gardens. The air here was thick with the sweet floral scent of the rain, a fragrance that seemed to permeate every corner of Everfall. The Sylvans shared stories of Everfall's long history, tales of harmony and balance passed down through generations. They spoke of the delicate interplay between the luminescent rain, the lumiflora, and the Sylvans themselves, each playing a vital role in maintaining the island's ethereal beauty. Their voice, soft and rhythmic, wove a tapestry of tranquility, lulling Elara into a deeper state of relaxation. The repetitive nature of the rain, the consistent chimes of the lumiflora, and the gentle rhythm of the Sylvans' voices created a soothing, hypnotic effect. The Sylvan elder spoke of the outside world, a world of noise and chaos, a world that threatened Everfall's delicate balance. They had remained hidden for centuries, protecting their sanctuary from the destructive forces of greed and ambition. Elara, listening to their gentle warnings, felt a growing sense of responsibility towards this magical realm. The peace and tranquility of Everfall had seeped into her very being, calming her restless spirit and filling her with a sense of belonging she had never known before. As the sun began to set, casting a warm orange glow on the luminescent rain, the Sylvan elder led Elara to a small, cozy dwelling nestled amongst the lumiflora. The walls were woven from the glowing vines of the plants, creating a soft internal light. A bed of phosphorescent moss awaited her, promising a restful sleep. The rhythmic patter of the rain on the leafy roof, the gentle chimes of the lumiflora outside, and the soft murmur of the Sylvan elder's farewell created a lullaby that eased Elara into a state of profound tranquility. As she drifted off to sleep, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for this unexpected sanctuary, a haven from the storms of the world she had left behind. Chapter 4. The Shadow of the Wanderer. Elara awoke to the gentle chime of the lumiflora, a melodic dawn chorus that replaced the jarring calls of seagulls she was accustomed to. The luminescent rain continued its gentle descent, bathing the ethereal gardens in a soft, otherworldly glow. The air was fresh and sweet, carrying the familiar scent of petrichor and the unique floral fragrance of Everfall. A sense of peace permeated the air, a tranquility that seeped into her very being, calming her mind and soothing her soul. She spent her morning exploring the island, guided by the gentle Sylvans, learning more about the delicate ecosystem and the symbiotic relationship between the rain, the lumiflora, and themselves. The rhythmic patter of the rain, a constant presence on Everfall, became a source of comfort, a gentle reminder of the island's unique magic. She observed the Sylvans tending to the lumiflora, their movements slow and deliberate, their touch gentle and respectful. They communicated through soft chimes and melodic hums, their voices blending harmoniously with the ambient sounds of Everfall. Elara found herself mimicking their slow, deliberate movements, her breathing falling into sync with the gentle rhythm of the rain. As the day wore on, a subtle shift occurred in the atmosphere of Everfall. The lumiflora, usually vibrant and glowing, began to dim slightly, their chimes becoming less frequent and more subdued. The Sylvans, too, seemed less animated, their movements slower, their expressions more contemplative. A subtle tremor ran through the island, barely perceptible but enough to disrupt the tranquil stillness Elara had come to cherish. The rhythmic patter of the rain, while still present, seemed to carry a hint of unease, a subtle dissonance in its previously harmonious melody. The source of the disturbance soon became apparent. A shadow fell across the island, blotting out the soft, diffused light of the luminescent rain. Elara looked up and saw the familiar silhouette of the celestial wanderer, the airship from which she had fallen, hovering above Everfall. A wave of conflicting emotions washed over her. Relief at the prospect of rescue warred with a growing sense of dread. The Sylvans had warned her of the outside world, of its potential to disrupt Everfall's delicate balance. The airship descended slowly, its shadow growing larger, casting a pall over the once vibrant gardens. The lumiflora dimmed further, their chimes fading to a barely audible whisper. The Sylvans gathered around Elara, their luminous eyes filled with concern. The rhythmic patter of the rain seemed to quicken, reflecting the growing tension in the air. Elara knew that she had a difficult choice to make. She could reveal Everfall to the world, risking its destruction, or protect its delicate balance by remaining hidden, sacrificing her own return to the life she once knew. As the airship landed on the island, its engines sputtering and groaning, disrupting the tranquil silence of Everfall, Elara felt a pang of guilt. She had brought this intrusion upon this peaceful realm, this sanctuary from the chaos of the outside world. The crew of the Wanderer, searching for their missing apprentice, emerged onto the island, their eyes widening in astonishment at the ethereal beauty that surrounded them. Elara, watching their reactions, knew that the fate of Everfall rested on her shoulders. The rhythmic patter of the rain, once a source of comfort, now felt like a countdown, urging her to make a decision, to choose between two worlds. Chapter 5. The Harmony of Balance. Elara watched the crew of the Celestial Wanderer as they explored the island, their initial awe giving way to a mixture of curiosity and bewilderment. Their voices, loud and jarring in the tranquil atmosphere of Everfall, startled the already subdued lumiflora. The rhythmic patter of the luminescent rain seemed to intensify, as if echoing the growing unease of the island itself. Elara knew that she couldn't allow the delicate balance of this magical realm to be disrupted by the intrusion of the outside world. She had to find a way to protect Everfall, even if it meant sacrificing her own return to the life she once knew. She approached the crew, her heart pounding in her chest, a mix of apprehension and determination. She knew she couldn't simply tell them to leave. They wouldn't understand. They wouldn't comprehend the delicate magic of Everfall, the importance of its secrecy. Instead, she turned to the lumiflora, focusing her mind on the gentle rhythmic chimes, seeking their aid. The Sylvans, understanding her intention, joined in, their melodic voices blending with the chimes, creating a subtle hypnotic melody. As the crew drew closer, their eyes fixed on Elara, a strange mist began to form around her, a shimmering veil woven from the luminescent rain and the soft glow of the lumiflora. The chimes intensified, weaving a subtle illusion, a projection of the storm they had encountered, a figment of their collective memory. The rhythmic patter of the rain, now imbued with the subtle magic of the lumiflora, created a hypnotic backdrop to the illusion, lulling the crew into a state of suggestibility. Elara, her voice soft and calming, spoke to the crew, her words weaving a tale of a shared hallucination, a figment of their imaginations brought on by the storm's fury. She described a phantom figure, a figment of their hope for a survivor, a projection of their own anxieties and fears. The illusion, fueled by the magic of Everfall, took hold, solidifying in their minds as a shared, albeit strange, experience. The rhythmic cadence of her voice, combined with the hypnotic chimes of the flora and the gentle patter of the rain, reinforced the illusion, making it seem real, tangible. The crew, their initial bewilderment replaced by a growing acceptance of Elara's explanation, began to doubt their own memories. The illusion, so seamlessly woven into the fabric of their perception, became indistinguishable from reality. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with a mixture of confusion and understanding. The rhythmic sounds of Everfall, the gentle rain, the soft chimes, and Elara's calming voice all worked in harmony to soothe their minds and ease their doubts. With a collective sigh of acceptance, the crew returned to the Celestial Wanderer, their memories of Elara's presence fading like the mist that had enveloped her. The airship ascended, its shadow receding from the island, restoring the soft, diffused light of the luminescent rain. The flora gradually regained their vibrancy, their chimes returning to their normal, harmonious melody. The Sylvans gathered around Elara, their luminous eyes filled with gratitude. She had saved Everfall, protecting its delicate balance from the intrusion of the outside world. The rhythmic patter of the rain, once again a source of comfort and tranquility, lulled Elara into a state of deep peace, a sense of belonging she had never known before. She was home,